Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us today. We have Mrs. Carly Marlowe with us here today. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am doing well, thank you. Thank you for being on, making your debut, the first podcast we're doing in the month of August. So we really appreciate you taking your time to stop by talking with us because I know you are a super busy woman.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, Carly, just the introduction before we get right into it. What do you do? Like, who are you? Give a little introduction.
Well, my name's Carly, of course. First, I'm a mom to my beautiful daughter, Alea.
Mhm.
I'm a wife to your MMA guy, Chuck. I am a student at OSU. I study exercise science, and I plan on becoming a physical therapist one day. And right now, I'm just a server until I get that degree.
Super, super, super busy. You are out there being a super mom.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'm trying my best.
No problem. But yeah, we invited you because we wanted to hit on women in video games. On the podcast, we've hit on women in sports and what they deal with, women in anime and what they deal with. So we were missing the gaming part. And you were the person who we really wanted to ask about it because you were super into video games. So what got you like into video games? Like how old were you, like your first memory of a video game?
So I was 4 years old. I remember going to my dad's house and he started playing Resident Evil 4. And I was like, okay, I really like this. It's kind of scary, got some action. And every time I would go to my dad's, I would be like, play the game, play Resident Evil. And he would have the easiest time babysitting me because all I'd want to do is watch him play Resident Evil. But yeah, those Resident Evil games really got me into gaming in general and my dad. So I definitely give him the credit.
Got you. What are your favorite types of games to play? What are you into? RPGs, shooters, action, and what are your least favorites?
Definitely shooters, horror, action are my favorites. So the Resident Evil series, like I mentioned, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, especially Red Dead 2. That was awesome, beautiful game. Some campaigns like The Last of Us 1 and 2, Days Gone. I really like those because they tug on the heart, you know. But my least favorite would definitely be 2K, just because it was introduced to me later in life. So Chucky's always beating me and I get angry. So I got to get better at it. So, well, hopefully I can end up beating him eventually.
And you have, I know the other game that he plays sports-wise is Madden, and you have beat him in Madden.
I have beat him in Madden, and I'm never going to let him forget it.
Are you more of a basketball person or a football person?
Oh, football, definitely.
Football, definitely. Okay, so
like I said, I'm that woman in the fantasy football, and I'm winning.
That's true. That is true. All right. Can't wait to see that this year. And that's going to be so much fun having you in there. But I guess with 2K, like if the day comes where you ever beat Chuck in 2K, or do you think he's going to tell people you beat him?
Oh, no way. Oh, I got close though the other day actually with the 90-91 Bulls because we were doing random teams. So I had Michael Jordan. That's the only player I was good with. The rest of them, he had like 40 points for me, and then
everything else wasn't so good.
I still lost, but
it's okay. Closer and closer. You just have to get one. You just got to get one where your shots are falling and his shots are not falling. Right. And then that is going to be the greatest news of all time. Because we will never be able to live it down. But so being in girls in gaming, so what's it like being a girl who like plays video games? Did you ever did anyone ever call you weird when you were younger when you were playing video games because you were a girl? Like what was that like?
Well, personally, I'm super excited and happy and that I was introduced to gaming. Personally, in person, most people were really cool with it, and none of my girlfriends play, but they know I do, and they'll sit here and watch once in a while. And I know Chucky loves that I play.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get online, those are the people who are kind of rude about it and are jerks, basically.
What's it like online then? Because if you're saying like in person, like everyone's like cool or whatnot, what is it like with the online community being a woman who plays video games?
So, of course, there's going to be sexism, and people are just perverted. They'll talk about very inappropriate things and the things they want to do to you.
Oh, jeez.
And like I said, I was in a GTA lobby once, and since they could kind of follow you around, they're following you around the whole map and just talking weird and, can infer nasty things.
Why are they? I guess when that happens, what do you do?
I just kind of ignore it or leave the lobby or mute them or shoot them, I guess, if they're following me around on GTA. But yeah, you definitely encounter that, or just guys who are plain rude and mean and just swear at you the whole match, or like I said, make that sandwich, go in the kitchen. Just stuff like that you encounter, especially on COD. That's definitely the most toxic gaming community.
Are there ever times where you're playing and they're like giving you props saying good job, whatever, and then like when they first hear your voice they try and take it back because you're a girl?
Yep. And like I said, I got Chucky. He usually helps me out and backs me up and makes me feel good.
So then with all that, like with that stuff happening, how can we change that? Like how can we get more women to feel comfortable playing video games? Because I've seen where I've watched like women streamers and then people in like the comment sections randomly asking them like if they're single, what colors like their underwear, and like they would never ask that to like a guy streamer. So how do we change that?
Well, first off, that's disgusting, and I feel horrible for women in gaming that have to go through that. But I think it's just a mindset thing. I think people need to teach their children to not be gross and disrespectful. One, and I just think men don't know how to act sometimes, especially around women. It's just a mindset thing, and I know men don't like being beat by women on video games. So that's another thing. Yeah, I just think they need to change their mindset, and people need to teach their kids how to act right.
If you could, so with Call of Duty, you're saying that, which is one of the most popular games in the world, is the most toxic online community.
Yes, and I think because there's so many people who play the game, you're getting a little bit of everybody.
Got you. So what would you, if you had a magic wand, what would you do to change like the video game community that it was more open to women playing video games?
I would definitely get rid of the toxicity, not only for women, but for everybody on there. A little trash talk is okay. Being confident is okay. But there is a point where it can just get too toxic, too rude, all the above.
And with women in gaming, you are a mom to a little girl. So how would you shield her away from like that toxicity that you've experienced? And like, what video games would you allow her to play growing up? And once she got like to playing games online, would you be monitoring it because you know what people can say and you don't want that stuff said to your daughter?
Definitely. I would be a little bit nervous for her to play COD or like the big open world games like GTA. But I'd let her play it. I would hope she'd come to me if somebody was being weird or somebody's sending her messages, stuff like that. But I hope she enjoys it, and I hope she kind of just learned to ignore it, because honestly, it probably will never go away.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that person who's just a jerk and potty mouth, and
Yeah, I know that's true.
So I don't think it's ever going to go away, but I think it can get better. And hopefully she just beats them all.
Now, I know your husband has a Twitch account and a YouTube account, and there was one time that you were on it and you were playing Call of Duty with him, Patrick, and your uncle, and everyone was saying on Patrick's stream how you were better than Chuck that day. So, like, what are your, like, have you thought about like coming on streaming, making a channel, and like, what have you thought about it?
Oh, definitely. I would love to. I was thinking when the next big game drops, maybe Back for Blood or Far Cry 6, that I would stream or record those and upload them, hopefully get a little following. I definitely plan on it though.
Now, with that, would you stream with your husband as well? Like pick games where you both can play together and like stream that?
Yes, we actually talked about that we would both have our own like solo account, but then there would be games or an account that we would have that we would do things together.
Gotcha.
So
that'd be pretty cool. You
some
both
fun
have your
competition, yeah.
Oh, it would be very fun because we only hear stories about you guys playing video games against each other. So now we'd actually be able to see it and then
hear it all.
Yeah, and then there would be no way that Chuck could just make it he said, she said about you beating him in a game and him not admitting that you beat it, because then the whole world would be able to see. And I know we'd be super excited. And there was one game that Chuck plays with us on Naruto, Boruto, Shinobi Strikers, where we're just sometimes we're like, man, just get Carly on. Let Carly take your spot and have like you play, because you know like the Naruto story, you've been watching it and you know your characters. So it's like we just every time we get on, we're just hoping that you just take the controller from Chuck. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna play and lead the team to victory. So
yeah, I mean, I will definitely get the game and I'll make my own person.
Oh,
that way, just in case I don't ruin any of his stuff.
That's true. Yeah, because Chuck, I don't know if he want his stats and stuff messed up, but he hasn't been on in a while that you'd be knocking the dust off his stats. So you give him a fresh restart. Carly, we're near the end of your debut episode. Do you have any shout outs or any like last things to say about like women in video gaming?
I think women should continue playing games. It would be nice for girls actually in the gaming community to come together, play together.
Oh, okay.
Talk together, talk about games.
Does that not happen?
I don't have a girl group personally, but I'm sure there's some out there. But I think girls should be more open to girls, and guys should also learn to respect women, respect women gamers, respect women athletes or female athletes, because girls like this stuff too. So yeah,
that is very, very, very true. I guess last thing, obviously, thank you everyone for listening to L7C podcast. Thank you, Carly, for making your debut on the L7C podcast. And you heard Mrs. Marlowe is the wife to Mr. Marlowe. So giving him his plug, make sure you check out his MMA episodes that he has on the YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You know where to find him. Just type in Chuck Marlowe MMA and you'll find his episodes as well. And then with the women in the video gaming community, really appreciate you talking about that. We really feel like that's a very serious subject that's kind of under the radar, but deserves more light. And for the guys out there, just do better. It's 2021. We don't need the make you a sandwich type stuff going in the chat. We don't need the sexist stuff. We don't need you asking women who are just there chilling, playing video games, having a good time, sexist stuff like what color's their underwear, if they're single, and you guys know where that goes. There's no need for that. You wouldn't ask a guy that, so you don't need to ask women that. They're just trying to play video games and have fun just like you. So let's do, and then for the guys who don't do that and just are doing the right thing, anytime you see a guy getting a little out of hand with a woman streamer on the channel, just check them so that they get checked once and then they don't do it again. So with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. You guys take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.